Hey guys, welcome to the stream. Today we are going to be working on animation blueprints for our wildlife. So here we have a goat, which is all rather nice, and currently we have it can go down to eat and then it'll fall over dead. Okay, all good fun, one has to say. But that's not really what we were trying to do. So, I was testing with stuff to find out what actually works. So, in theory, if we look at our idle chew, we're not going to loop it. Actually, we could loop it for now. Because what we want, and these are, one of the ways we could do this is to combine basically the two. Combine the graze and then the chew. And that's not what we want, really. We want to check to see, goes down to eat, and it is chewing. Right? But the chewing does not last for long. Right? Which is kind of fine. We have our movement here. And what we want is this. And basically, when we come in here, we set this to not loop. Okay. And in theory now, our goat should go down, eat some stuff, come back up, chew for a millisecond, and then go back. And there we go. But strangely, we actually need the same thing as this. Ah, wait a minute. Yeah, that's an OR. So that's fine. So what we need to do now is go into here. Right, now this can jump out immediately. And if we say chew, right, and then we say is less than 0.1, and this can then go in here. Okay. And now you should chew for a minute, then go down again. Yep, that's fine. Okay, so that works for us for now. And our next thing that we need to do is check our states. Okay. So this is where we basically want to select a state. Okay, at the moment we're just basically setting it to grazing. And we have this enum animation state or animal state. Hi Mr. Spock, how are you? Right, so if we actually go here and where did I put it exactly? I think I put it here. We've got animal state, right? We can add a new, and we can say move we can actually just say moving to new position. If I can type for a second. Okay. So in here we are going to go to here and we are going to duplicate that. Okay, we're not going to do that at all. Right, we're going to duplicate that and we're going to say moving to new position. We're going to go to our blackboard. We're going to add a new key and it's going to be a vector and it's going to be v new destination. Okay. So we're just going to add these as we do it, right? So this is moving to new position, right? We bomb this into a selector. Right, and then what we do is we say sequence And in this case, we're going to get a new task. Right? And we're going to rename this to something that makes sense. We're going to say get, or we're going to say set new destination. Okay, I'm going to come in here. We are going to get function. Okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to get our execute AI. And we are going to at least need our new destination. That's if that's what I called it. V new destination. Okay, V for vector. So that makes perfect sense. Okay, and this is going to be a blackboard key selector. And to make it good, we need to make it public. And our control pawn, we're going to not do that. Right, wait a minute. We're going to I can't remember what this is called. Get random locational in that'll do us. And our control pawn, we're going to say location. And that is going to go in the origin. Then we're going to set our radius to 5,000. Right. And then we're going to, that's okay. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to drag this in. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set blackboard value as vector, and our vector is going to be that. Now I'm just hoping that our test level has a nav mesh on it. And we are going to say finish execute with success. Let's save that. Then we're going to go back to here. And we set new destination. And that is going to be new destination. Then we are going to move to and it's self actor. No, it's not. Talking rubbish. It's new destination. And we save that. And now what we can do is we can go into here. We can duplicate that. And then we can set that as the new status. And it does absolutely sod all. And that's because we don't have a nav mesh. Right. So we go to volumes, nav mesh bounds volume, bang it in there, and then we basically make it bigger. 100. Alright, and that'll do for now. And if we press P, you can see that we have our nav mesh bounds. What's that? Right, that's some kind the ocean infinity thing. So now if we press play, and it's off. Okay. So our next thing we need to do is go back to our blackboard. And we'll have it wait for a certain amount of time. Let's say 10 seconds. Now, what we really need to do is set it back to idle. So we can do that. So our doofus is going way too fast, okay? And we probably want to go to our go to our movement character, and maximum walking speed is 150. Right, so that should slow him down a bit. Alright. It's kind of not. It's like there's a certain speed where it looks okay. Right? I don't know if it's faster or slower. Yeah, calm down. It's like, I'm not too sure if it's too fast or if it's too slow. I'll make it 150. Now we're going to speed this up, obviously, if Yeah, that's more sliding again. So it would appear that this has to go up a bit. Right. That's not quite right. That's sliding again. The number is somewhere around about 200 and odd. Right. But it is still kind of sliding. Let's have a look. It's still sliding. Now, if it's sliding, that means that it's moving. I believe, when I think about it, it means it's moving too fast. That's all coming. I'm just getting basic stuff working, Mr. Spock. Yeah, he's still sliding. Go with 125. That's still too fast. Weird. Okay, there's something weird going on there. And what I think it is actually the animation blueprint. And the blend space. Yeah, that seems to be a bit better. Yep. Okay, we'll leave it at that for now. Okay, so we've got that, right? And the next thing we're going to do is we've got that one alerted, scared, moving to new position, right? So if we go to our AI controller, and right, that's all good. And we add an AI perception. And we're going to say predominant sight. And our first one is going to be sight, which isn't actually true for a, and we're going to say hearing. Right. We'll leave that as is for now. So we've got that. We're going to detect everything. And we're going to set this age. And we're going to say 3. And again, we're going to leave that as is. And we'll say 3. And in here, compile that. We're going to say this is actually going to be an event. Event interesting. We're going to say on perception updated, and it's not that one. It's this one. Right, so we're going to grab this. This is interesting. So we've got a tag here, right? Which means that can we add a tag to each of the different senses? I suppose we can read it out, right? I don't think it really actually matters in this case. Let's see, so this is branch. Okay, we can say has tag. And that's player. So now we can say and right, and we can plug that in there. So if it's successfully sensed and it's the player, then we do something, otherwise we don't. Okay, so in this case we'll just say print string and we'll say player sensed right, and then we'll change this to 60 seconds to give us plenty of time. Okay, now our goat we want it facing the other way, right? So it's not going to see us. Right? Now it's spotted us there. Okay? Now the interesting thing is if we move it doesn't appear to be sensing us. Having said that, we're not making any noise. Or actually I might be, but I'm on headphones. So we'll try that again. Now, what we've got to do here is add well, what am I talking about here? Well, the point is here, if this is updated, we might need to just check one of these, but in the meantime, we can basically say player dropped. Okay, and we can change the colour of this probably to, let's say, a sort of green colourish. So if you press play again, right, it just dropped us. But it's rather obvious that our listening one isn't working, right? So if we were to say, let's say 10,000, right? Now it should be hearing us there, but it's not. Must have turned to faces again. Okay, so for some reason our hearing is not getting, well, the hearing on the goat is not getting picked up. Don't know why that is. I wonder, right, see if I change this to hearing. If that makes any difference. Apparently not. Okay, well, we'll need to have a look into that. But in the meantime, I'm going to go and grab a cigarette. If you're enjoying the stream, hit like, subscribe. Check out the description for some links. And I shall be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. Alright, we're back. And we're going to have to figure out this hearing thing later, I guess. What's this? Don't know what this is, but we'll add a number in and see what happens. Well, he's not sensing me at all. Right, well, we'll have to figure that one out. I'm thinking it's probably something to do with the player footsteps and the attenuation. And I'm guessing that the attenuation drops too quickly. So that basically what's happening is the attenuation around the footsteps is very close. Although, having said that, it should be able to hear that. Right. Unless, for some reason, there is no attenuation. Right? So, if that's the case, we need to have a look at our character and our animation character, and then basically when they play a step, so if we go to the animation graph, right, we need to get, that's the wrong one. We need to find out this one, right, and find out what the different, so it's this one here, right? So you'll notice we've got this right footstep, right? And it's going to depend on this attenuation, right? So if we add a breakpoint in here, if this is set to nothing, there'll be no attenuation. Alright, so here is our thing, and our attenuation is nothing. Right, so if our attenuation is nothing, then basically it's the sound isn't played out into the world. It's basically you are the only, let's say it doesn't exist, okay? So the question is, we have that, okay, and we can look at it, and we have SA footstep. And it's got a fall off of 1,000, right? So now, in theory, we should be able to activate the hearing of right, we're going to have to see what's going on here. We are going to have to get close. But as you can see, we aren't. Okay, so I'm going to do a quick Google search here. And we're looking up hearing sense. Right, it says detection by affiliation section, make sure all sections are set to true, which I did. Ah, that's interesting. Okay. Right. So as a basic fix, it appears that the sound does not actually make any difference regarding in a single player game, basically. Right, so we can plug that straight back in, but apparently what you have to do right, is report a noise event. So I'm going to go back to the event graph here, right? And that's not really what I need. And this is like a footstep component. And I wonder, yeah, we can report a noise event. Okay. And we can't do a self. Right? We can do it here though, because we've got our receive notify and we've got our mesh component, which is the actor component. Right? So in theory, we should be able to do it here and say report noise event. And just for a laugh, we can put that in there. Then we can say location. Plug that in there. Right. So now, in theory, there we go. Players getting sensed. It's dropped me again, but it's hearing me again. Right, and that's because it's been basically set to sense at 10,000. Right, I'm going to comment this and say test code to trigger hearing sensing. Oopsie. We'll drag that down to there so that we can muck about with that later. So now if we go back to our goat and our goat controller, we can turn this back down to a reasonable amount and switch that off. Right? So that's way too high. Right? So we need to change this We can do this in either of two ways, right? What we can do is we can either say, like, we can set this to a value, or we can go to this code here, wherever it was, this one, and we can say maximum range at what something can hear us. Right? So we can either set it here, so it says still limited by listener's range, right? So what we can do is say 3000, right? And if it doesn't matter if our goat is 2000 away, or its distance, right, of this, let's say we set this at 2000, right? If we go outside of this 2000, then it doesn't matter that we're reporting a noise, right? Right, so the distance is dropped at this range here, and it can't hear us, right? So we'll see in a minute how far it is. Okay, so it's hearing us at this point. We need to be able to see how far away it is. Right, so I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll go back to our goat, right? And we'll just set this so it won't move. It will still be able to sense us, right? But we can actually judge how far away right, so it's not dropping us. Oh yeah, it did. Right, it's dropped us. Right. Right, so it's not hearing us there, right? It is hearing us. Right, we need to cut the time down on the perception thing so that we can actually see what's going on. So we'll dump it down to 5. And what we could actually do in this case is go into our player and then just basically force it to tell us how far away the goat is. Right? So, if we go back into here, demo character, right? And we can look for the event tick. It's being used at the moment, but we're going to remove that at some point. Right? And we get all actors of class. And we say BP. And we say wildlife. And then we just say for each. And then we're going to get a distance 2D. Right. Then we're going to say self. Okay, we're not going to do that. It's distance. So we want a distance between two actors, I believe. Yeah, horizontal. Get horizontal distance 2. That'll do it. Right, so we're going to go for self. Then we're going to get this. Then we're going to do a print string. And this is going to give us a general idea of how far away 2000 actually is. Right. Apparently not. Right, what did I do wrong there? Did I not plug this in or something? Apparently that's not running. Right, so that code isn't running for good reason. So we'll put it there just now. We'll break that. Then we shall put that there. We should be able to remove this. And now it should run. Right, so that's 693 at the moment, right? That's 1000. That's 1500. And that is about 2000. That's about 2000. So I would actually go for the hearing to be 1500, or possibly even less. Or what I would say was the hearing and the sight would be, let's say, 2000, and lose sight at 2500. Right? Now, this perception updated, I'm not 100% keen on. Alright, we may not want to do anything with that. But my problem is that this is getting updated all the time, where I had it before, it would only update once, as if it was like a trigger, like a collision box. So once you walked into it, it would trigger it, right? But it wouldn't update until you actually moved out of it, right? Whereas this seems to be I'm just wondering, what's this? Okay. Never used that before. Right, okay. So we are definitely triggering there, right? And we want this now to not do anything. I'm going to plug this in just for completeness sake. It doesn't actually do anything because basically it's never ragdoll, and it is as server, but it's never ragdoll. So I'm going to leave that as is for now. But what I want to see, you see that sensed. So it is going into this code continually. Right? Now, the way I'm going to deal with that in actual fact is I'm going to set up a variable in here, and I'm going to say has has target. Okay. And I'm going to bring this in here. Then I'm going to add this. And I'm going to actually say not. Right, so if these three are true, right, in this case this one is false, then it's going to set this, okay, and if it's not, it's going to set, we're going to set has target to false, right, and then in this one, we're going to obviously update this in the, when we do something, right, we're going to set a state in our animation and our AI, right? So now we should only get it to print the player sensed once, right? But that's not happening. Alright. Ah, okay. We don't actually do this. We do this as a separate thing. And we've got to do another branch here. So if it has a target, not, and it's true, okay. We actually do this first. Right, so we come in here, right? And if it's the player, and if we have a stimulus, now this is saying successfully sensed, right? So basically on the sense that's going to give us a true or a false, okay, which is what we had before. Okay, so if this is false, and we're going to delete this for clarity. We're going to do that. If this is true, but we don't have a target, then we do that. Right? You see how we've got a target now? 2, 3, dropped, and it should only do it once. So there we go. Okay, so we are basically only acting on our sensed once, depending on whether or not our controller knows we have a target. Okay, so in here and in here, we basically set these up like so. Right? And we can now go to our blackboard, and we can quite simply add a bool and call it has target. Okay. Now we might do a little bit of work on this. But in the meantime, we'll go back to our controller and we'll say get blackboard, right, and we'll say self, and then we'll set bool and these are both going to go in there, and then we're going to set has target based on that, right? And then make literal name, and that's going to be has target. Okay, and now we should be able to look at our behavior tree And when we walk, we should see this has target changing. So it's going to be false, right? And then when we walk, it sets it to true, and then it goes back to false. True, false. Okay. So we can now basically tell it to run away. Okay. So what we can do is we can add another selector, okay, and then add a decorator on it. Yeah, we're doing some AI, Aladius. So yeah, we're adding the decorator, and it's going to be the blackboard value, and it's going to be we're going to leave that just now. We're going to say has target, and then we're going to say is not set, and in fact I've put that in the wrong place. Right. So our selector here is going to be the one. And we're going to have two. So that's going to be a selector. Right, and this is going to have a decorator from the blackboard, and so is this from the blackboard, and this is going to be has target, and it's going to be is not set. On result change, this is on value change, observer aborts basically everything. Right, and the same for this one, on value change we abort everything. Right, so basically when this value changes, we either go back to pissing about, Well, that's a different grid entirely. Aladius. A widget grid does not relate to moving a character around. A grid in a widget is basically just for placing things on the UI. Right, so theoretically here, if we look at this, right, it should run as normal. That's if I plug it in properly. And why is that not running? That's super weird. Ah, right, okay. I've goofed. That should be has target. I done goofed. Right, so there we go. So it's in normal mode, right? So it's going to select different things and walk about and do shit and whatever until I basically move, and then it goes into here, right? So after 3 seconds we obviously lose, and then it goes back in, right? But theoretically we should now basically set this to do a task, right? And the task is going to be run the bleeding opposite direction for the player, right? Or whatever, right? But that is what we're going to do. And in actual fact, when we do this, we're not going to abort out. We don't necessarily abort out, right? Because we want the deer or whatever animal it is to run away and get to where it's going before it actually fires this again, right? So we aren't actually going to abort on change. Right, so basically we're not going to abort. Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to check it. Well, actually, you know what? This one is actually going to abort. But the other one is not. Okay? If it's startled, we don't want it continuing on with its everyday business. We'll say this is its everyday business, right? But it doesn't abort out of here if it changes, right? Because we want it to run away, get a new position, blah de blah, right? So what we could do is basically set it to do exactly what it does here, right? So this is V new destination, right? And then basically we do the move to, right? And again, new destination. Right, now what we're going to do is we're actually going to set it up so that it actually runs rather than walks, right? So we're going to do two things here. We're going to set up the speed in here and in here, right? And then we shall wait, in this case, probably for 5 seconds. Now, we are going to refine these, like as I said, we're going to have to do it so that our basically so that our player is always back out of range. I forgot my train of thought there, so if that one didn't make any sense, then I'm sorry, but yeah. Right? So basically, if we press play, I'm going to bring this as much into view as possible. So he's going to do nothing for now, right? Now, as soon as I step, he jumps into there. Now, I'm a goofball, again, because this should be a sequence, right? But because I'm a goofball, I forgot to do a sequence. Right? So that'll be that. Okay. And now we want to see, there he goes, right? Now, once he's there, let's see what happens, right? So he's still moving. And then it goes back. So that's kind of what we want, right? But we need to stop him, right? So we need to do a set status. Okay. So I think we need Right, okay. We can do this pretty easily. Now this is select status. Right, so we are going to do a new task. Right, and we'll duplicate this one. And we're going to rename this. We're going to say set status. And we'll just call it direct. Okay. And we are basically, what we're going to do here is we're going to say we're going to drag this and then we're going to get the blackboard value as enum, right? And then we're going to plug it in here. Right? And then the set new state is going to come in here and set our animal instance animation state, right? So it's basically going to pull it out of the grazing or whatever it's doing and go back to its basically run and walk and run and stuff, okay? Oh, we didn't actually tell it to do that, did we? In the behaviour tree, I'm getting a step ahead of myself. Right? So, set status direct. We do that. Right? And our enum status is that, and we set that, that's fine. Save that. And now, hopefully, there you go. Now, all we need to do now is set our speed. Okay? Because we want it to basically run like the wind. Okay? But I think we'll leave it at that. So if you've enjoyed the stream, hit like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Check out the description for links to Discord. You can support the game and the channel on Patreon, and you can take a look at my previous game on Steam, and even just adding it to your wish list would help a lot. And I shall see you at 8 PM Central tonight. Bye bye for now.